what was lost. When we choose love, not the hatred all around us, we see God here by our side, walking our way. We see God here by our side, walking our way. When our spirits like a chalice brim with gladness, when our voices full and clear sing out the truth, when our longings free from envy seek the humble, we see God here by our side, walking our way. We see God here by our side, walking our way. When the goodness poured from heaven fills our dwelling, when the nations were to change war into peace, when the stranger is accepted as our neighbor, we see God here by our side, walking our way. We see God here by our side, walking our way. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like thee. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've lived 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began.
Please.
Whoever you are, wherever you come from, Whatever age, ability, history, identity, gender, or sexual orientation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. Here to this place where we nurture connections and empower action. I am Laura Anthony, my pronouns are they, them, and it is a joy to serve this community as a liturgist. We are grateful to have Paul Black and Melinda Laughlin as our hymn leaders, and Marcus Hauk, our Director of Music Ministries. If you haven't already, please put your phones in worship mode. Today's worship leader is Reverend Dr. Sarah Lenzi. Reverend Sarah, she, her, is in her 8th year serving the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood, New Jersey, and she also teaches the course on UU ministry at Union Theological Seminary. She has a passion for building communities of trust and care, and loves a good Sunday morning in worship. Our senior co-ministers, Reverend Anya and Reverend Scott, are on sabbatical. Reverend Anya will be away through May 6th. Reverend Scott will be away through March 10th, then again April 15th through May 12th, and finally from July 1st through July 28th. So mark that down. Our service today invites us into the practice of grounding ourselves into our deepest beliefs by examining the words we use and what they say about our theology. Our call to action is an invitation to participate in the Together We Can pledge drive. Beckman Gaines family, let's do it.
Johnny.
Hi, my name is Johnny. My pronouns are he, him.
Just say it loud.
Just say it real loud. Everyone can hear you.
Hi, my name is Leslie.
Hi, my name is Leslie.
My pronouns are?
My pronouns are he, him, and...
Okay, that's it for now. All right. Hi, my name is Jill. My pronouns are she, her.
And hi, I'm David, he, him.
And together we are the Beckman Gaines family. We've been members of UUCM since 2018, but we started attending worship here shortly after we moved to town in 2011. We were brand new parents in a brand new town trying to cobble together a sense of community.
To be honest, it took us a long time to find a bit of community here, mostly because as new parents, our lives were so upside down, it was frankly a miracle to get out of the house on a Sunday morning.
As a lifelong UU, I am eternally grateful for the religious education I received back at my home congregation. To me, RE is the cornerstone of Unitarian Universalism. So once Johnny was in preschool, we signed him up for RE and started showing up more frequently, and that's when we started really making connections.
Then COVID. We started tuning in from home, like a lot of you may remember. And interestingly, moving virtual was what made it really possible for us to become more integrated into the community. And suddenly my skills as a videographer were in demand for our virtual services.
And I could finally start singing with the choir since I didn't have to be at rehearsal during bedtime on a Wednesday night, Marcus. David and I found ourselves more involved than ever in congregational life, and we were loving it. But RE was in a tailspin, and there really wasn't much for our kids to do. By the time we started meeting in person again, we looked around and realized that many of our friends, the other families of young kids, were gone.
Since then, RE has had a challenge of building back better, and it hasn't been easy. But Judith Hogan is doing an amazing job, and I'm really having an amazing time being on the RE committee and working in partnership to really know as many of the other families in the congregation as I can and figure out a way to make it a more welcoming place for the younger families in our community.
Johnny, you're up.
I like D&D because you can get immersed in a whole different world.
Johnny, Leslie, why do you like the values room?
I like the values room because we get to do fun art projects, a lot of different stuff. We get to do cool things, and all that other stuff.
There has never been a more important time to support this congregation. In 20 Lessons on Tyranny by Timothy Snyder, lesson number 2 is defend institutions. He says, it is institutions that help us preserve our decency, so choose an institution you care about and take its side. We are choosing UUCM.
And to us, the heart and future of this incredible institution is in religious ed, and reestablishing it as the cornerstone on which this fantastic legacy is built.
But if we want our RE program to truly thrive, then we need the larger congregation, yes, each of you, to commit to being more welcoming to the young families that come through our doors. Maybe that means lending your talent and volunteering to teach. Or maybe that means lending your time and reaching out to those young families who are looking for connection and helping them find it. Or maybe that means lending your treasure and increasing your pledge so that we can support broader RE programming that can address more of the needs of our families. For our part, we are committing to doing all 3.
My favorite part of UUCM is all the fun, friendly people here.
What's your favorite part of UUCM?
Because I get to finally, do whatever I want without having to worry about anybody being sad.
Okay.
Well done, Leslie. That was great.
Thank you for being a safe and welcoming community for our children.
They're the future of our denomination, and together we can make this institution strong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Beckman Gaines family, yes. That's going to be hard to beat. Okay.
Well, I got something.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, because you requested choir, so we're going to have choir rehearsals now Thursday mornings from 9 to 10:30. How's that? Yeah? You asked for it. No more excuses. Okay, good.
If you are just beginning to make connections, please find our greeters wearing red stoles. Those are the neck scarves. They are here to help you, and they are here for you. We live stream our services. While we cannot guarantee that you are not caught on camera, it is our intention to focus our cameras on our worship leaders. If you desire a camera-free zone, please see a greeter who will escort you there. Let's now reach out to a few folks near us and offer them welcome and love.
Let us open our senses to take in the beauty. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another, to love one another. Let us open our senses to take in the beauty. Let us open our minds us open our hearts to love one another, to love one another.
Good morning. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your pulpit this morning. Your ministers very kindly visited my congregation last year while I was away, and I am delighted to return the favor this morning. I was told that your theme for worship this month is inclusion. In the new description that's provided with the new articulation of our values, the word inclusive appears in the description of equity, and I'm going to read to you that description. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. This description not only says what we mean by equity, it also says that we will work to create a world of equity, and that we will create and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. But how do we do that? What does that look like? I wanna share an image with you. Okay, there you go. The first thing that we have to understand is the difference between equality and equity. Many of you may have seen this image before. On the left is an image that shows equality. 3 people of varying heights stand behind a fence trying to watch a ball game, and they are each given a stool the same size to stand on. Everyone gets the same thing, to be fair, to be equal. But what happens when we give each person exactly the same thing no matter what? It doesn't actually make things better for everyone, because each person has unique needs that mean the support they need is different. Equality, fairness, focusing on giving each person the same thing doesn't always work. On the right is an image of equity, and this is when we pay attention to each person's individual needs and capacities, and we help according to what is actually needed to achieve equal opportunity, to achieve change. So in the image on the right, each person gets a stool large enough for them to see over the fence. When we're working to help everyone have what they need, have chances at happiness and success and joy, we have to consider what is actually needed for each unique person. That is how we include one another fully, not by being perfectly fair and equal, but by ensuring each of us has what we as an individual needs. As Unitarian Universalists, we commit to promoting equity, working for equity, recognizing that every single person has a unique worthiness and dignity that must be honored and respected in order to be truly inclusive. As we move through our service today and throughout our days, let's keep in mind that difference between fairness and justice, between equality and equity, between welcome and true inclusion.
Let's take a moment to thank those who have gathered, who have made a community. Special thanks to Susie, Rome, and Luna for creating this month's chancel display. And let's celebrate with applause, hoots, and joy of any form those who are making this gathering possible. Our custodian, greeters, ushers, teachers, Connection Cafe facilitators, and worship leaders. Thank you. From gratitude comes generosity. For the month of February, we will be sharing our riches with Dial, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, which supports information, referrals, advocacy, peer support, independent living skills training, and community transition facilitation. Dial's 45-year history in Passaic and Essex counties has served the full inclusion of those living with disabilities into society. You can text UUCM plate and your amount to 73256 to give. Mail us a check with plate in the memo, or simply place your gift in the offering basket. And community, please know that all of your gifts are worthy and they are all received with love. Ushers, please come forward.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, oh my soul. Friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing.
Good morning. I'm David Bronstein. I am a member in training of the pastoral care team. My pronouns are he, him, and it's really good to be with you today. Called to find depth in our days and discover reverence in this hour, we seek a gentle meditation, a focused reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called, and yet mystically all together. As we enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community, let us hear one another to heal one another. Brad Heisen lights this candle of healing for Amy Wolosoff and her brother Neil as they deal with their mother Ruth's passing after years of decline. May Amy, Neil, and Ruth find their way through this time of great change. Brad would also like to light a candle of prayer for close friends Suzanne McDonald and Pam Kimball, who are both dealing with breast cancer. And finally, Keith Harmon Snow, former UN war crimes investigator, journalist, and father of 11-year-old son Birch. Keith passed away recently. May they all be blessed with healing and grace on their journey and processes. Jane Gartner lights a candle for our lead custodian, Don Coleman, whose favorite cousin, Raheem Shabazz, died of a heart attack February 6th. Please send prayers to Dawn and her family, who have experienced many losses in the past several months. I'd like to light a candle of healing and celebration for Wayne Fody, who's going to be discharged from a rehab center after about a month stay, and he's going to be finally getting back to the Montclarian, so he's very happy about that. But it's going to be a tough road, so please keep him in your prayers and thoughts. And we light this final candle for the joys and sorrows that are deeply felt but have not been spoken aloud. May we hold this silence as this silence holds us. May our listening inspire acts of love. Please join me in a common embodiment of reverence. Spirit of life and love, God of many names, and yet none at all, give us new strength so that we can build places of belonging, to create a community for all to share their gifts, to help us see your light in all that we serve. Let us remember that each of us is loved, each of us is willed, and each of us is necessary. May we balance mercy and justice so that we can achieve equity and access for all of your children. Blessed be, may it be so. Amen.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, ere I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known last days to sing God's praise, that when we first begun.
Our reading this morning is a poem by Ellen Bass. It's titled, If You Knew. What if you knew you'd be the last to touch someone? If you were taking tickets, for example, at the theater, tearing them, giving back the ragged stubs, you might take care to touch that palm, brush your fingertips along the lifeline's crease. When a man pulls his wheeled suitcase too slowly through the airport, when the car in front of me doesn't signal, when the clerk at the pharmacy won't say thank you, I don't remember they're going to die. A friend told me she'd been with her aunt. They'd just had lunch, and the waiter, a young gay man with plum black eyes, joked as he served the coffee, kissed her aunt's powdered cheek when they left. Then they walked half a block, and her aunt dropped dead on the sidewalk. How close does the dragon's spume have to come? How wide does the crack in heaven have to split? What would people look like if we could see them as they are? Soaked in honey, stung and swollen, reckless, pinned against time.
And some would say the time has passed me by, and some would say that the wells have all run dry, and some would say, well, that's how it has to be, so some would say, but I beg to disagree. 'Cause I know good fortune waits for me somewhere. I will have my portion, I will have my share. I'll keep my feet in motion till they carry me there. I will have my portion, I will have my share. 'Cause I do believe there's a harvest in the field, I do believe. There's truth to be revealed, I do believe. Well, there's treasure to be found, and I do believe. There's enough to go around. 'Cause I know good fortune waits for me somewhere. I will have my portion, I will have my share. I'll keep my feet in motion till they carry me there. I will have my portion, I will have my share. 'Cause I know somewhere there's a blessing that will bear my name, and sooner or later it's coming to me just the same. Can't wait to see what's set aside for me with every new sunrise. I'm gonna keep my eyes wide open, 'cause I know, 'cause I know, 'cause I know good fortune waits for me somewhere. I will have my portion, I will have my share. I'll keep my feet in motion till they carry me there. I will have my portion, I will have my share. I will have my portion, I will have my share. Yes, I will.
In my family, we have a habit of identifying what we call bad theology. This means we hear something or we read something that has a set of implications, and then one of us might turn to the other, and with a little shake of the head, you have to shake your head, with a little shake of the head and maybe a little this, bad theology. Now, I really want to stress carefully before we dive into this that my family starts from a place of Unitarian Universalist belief. So our identification of bad theology is consistent with Unitarian Universalist belief, right? It's consistent with a vision of universal salvation and of the potential for goodness in all people and of the power of love. Now, lately, I have noticed a trend in my own bad theology call-outs. They seem to be coming more frequently when someone uses the word deserve or its relative, the word blessed. Now, I'll admit to you that when my brain gets tired, I get sucked into reels on the internet. I don't know if anyone else experiences this. It's little short videos. And there are a lot out there that invoke these words, deserve and blessed. Look at my 10 perfect children. God has blessed me. This amazing medical recovery happened to my cousin. She deserved it so much. And we see it in sports. I want to thank God for blessing us with this win today. And it can be more biting. So-and-so failed her midterm, but she deserved it because she's so mean. And to all of these, and plenty more, I say, bad theology. Is God angry at and punishing the team that didn't win? What does meanness have to do with failing at test taking? Did your cousin deserve health more than those who didn't respond to the treatment? God blessed you with these children, and what, is punishing those with infertility? Now, maybe some of the folks who say things like this do actually believe the implications of their words. Maybe they would say, yes, those suffering deserve to suffer. But too often, I actually think that people are just not thinking through the flip side of what they're saying. They're not thinking about the fact that to say that I deserve to have a loving partner suggests that someone who doesn't deserve it. Maybe what we mean to say is, I deserve it as everyone deserves it, but it often comes across as sounding like I got it because I'm special in some way, more than those who didn't get that thing they wanted. Like I'm favored in some way, and that's why I get these joys. Not because of luck or timing or hard work or medicine or just random choices. When we say that someone deserves the happiness in their life, it can imply that those who experience tragedy or hardship or who don't get what they're longing for somehow deserve that. Now, that relationship between blessing and deserve, to me, it feels like deserve gets used as the modern, de-theologized, stripped of God version of the word blessed. That's what I think the relationship is there. I think deserve is subtly masquerading. And I want to suggest that used uncritically, it actually participates in a historical belief system that we as Unitarian Universalists don't share. So we're going to go back to the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation creates a bunch of space across Europe and the rest of Christendom for beliefs that are not Catholicism, right? It makes space for new interpretations, new theologies. Many sects, many denominations develop in this time, many built on old and even ancient ideas that became heretical under the Catholic Church. And among these new Christianities that develop was a thing called Calvinism. And now my colleague, the Reverend Carl Gregg, helpfully sums up the salient points of historical Calvinism when he writes, quote, "The most famous overview of what Calvinism entails uses the acronym TULIP. T, total depravity, meaning that because of humanity's original sin, we are totally depraved. There is nothing we humans can do to save ourselves, so we must rely on God's grace alone. U, unconditional election, being part of the saved or elect has nothing to do with humans meeting any condition. Again, the choice and action is totally up to God. L, limited atonement, meaning Jesus' death on the cross was only for the elect, not for all of humanity. I, irresistible grace, the elect cannot resist or reject salvation from God. And P, perseverance of the saints, also known as once saved, always saved. So that is Carl Gregg's very tight explanation of historical Calvinism. And I want to take a second to dwell on the first 2 points. Calvinism at its beginnings, and you have to allow for it having changed over hundreds of years, but at its beginnings, Calvinism espoused that humans were universally sinful, born in sin, born of sin, and that nothing we do can ever change that. Only God's favor can change that, what was called God's election. And perhaps confusingly to us universalists, God didn't elect everyone and didn't elect anyone based on their own merits, but by some divine metric that humans didn't have access to. So in that tradition, no matter what you did, you could not change your fate. Everything was in God's hands, and only some would be saved. Only some were privileged, blessed, deserving. And I think this is part of what has lingered down the ages and is maybe rising again as a notion that only some are in and others are out, and only some have worthiness and others do not. And you can imagine when one lives with the belief that only some get chosen, you can imagine the desire to look for signs that you might be among the chosen. Maybe if I have success at work, or I have an easy time getting pregnant, or I find wonderful friendships, maybe these are signs that God has elected me, chosen me. Maybe good things happening to me is a sign that good things are supposed to happen to me because I'm special. I'm elect. The bad things that happen, well, those are a test of my faith in God and in God's grace and in my election. And anyway, those bad things maybe aren't even because of God, but because of the unchosen humans. When bad things happen to other people, though, that's definitely a sign that they are not among the elect. Because we can't all be. In a world of the elect, who will be saved and spend eternity with God, and who will be not elect and burn in hell, the mental gymnastics make sense. Theology based on division encourages seeing ourselves differently than we see others. I get wanting to see your own election evidenced in the conditions of your life. I understand that psychologically. There was, in fact, a whole sociological theory, it's called Weber's thesis, about how Protestantism enlivened capitalism exactly because worldly success suggested divine election. Max Weber's book, it's been complicated by more recent studies, but it's kind of a foundational piece of sociological work. It's called The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism. I would recommend reading a summary, not the whole book. We can understand, he says, and it makes sense, we can understand how folks might have been looking all around for signs that they were among the predestined for heaven and grace and glory. And from where I sit, from my Unitarian Universalist perspective, that is bad theology. Bad theology that has trickled down the ages and found new life in the words like blessed and deserving, even if we take out God from the language altogether. Bad theology that over 200 years ago, our faith forebears rejected in favor of what was called universal salvation, and in favor of the belief, captured to this day in our language about equity, that every person has worthiness and every person has dignity. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Unitarians and Universalists were themselves reaching back to ancient heresies, reading the scripture and reinterpreting it like any good Protestant of the time, and then articulating their own faith, frequently over and against Calvinism. Reverend Gregg continues by writing, quote, "Instead of total depravity, Unitarian Universalism," back then it wouldn't have been together, but they taught the inherent worthiness and dignity of every human being. Instead of limited atonement, they taught that God's love was for all. Instead of unconditional election, irresistible grace, and the perseverance of the saints, they emphasized human freedom and human responsibility, that how we humans use our free will matters and can change the world. In the UU language of 2 centuries ago, we are not inherently sinners, and God will save us all. That is what they believed. In our UU language now, whether you are a person who believes in God or not, every single person has inherent worthiness and dignity, and every person has a right to, deserves, we could use it properly here, freedom and justice and equal chances and basic human rights and joy. Earlier, I showed you that image, but I'm going to show another one now. Yeah, okay, great. This is the expanded one. We see again equality and equity, but we also see justice. The fence is now see-through, so no supports are needed at all. The systemic block against equal access is gone. In truth, the fence should just be like gone altogether, but they're watching a ball game and then they might get hit in the face with a ball, so it's see-through. You get the point, though. Equity is the idea that each person deserves to be treated as an individual with worthiness and given what they need to live this life well. Justice is the idea that we must tear down the social and political and legal and systemic barriers to full equality, to equal opportunity, to full protection, complete safety. Over the past 4 weeks, and I'm probably not going to tell you anything you don't already know, over the past 4 weeks, the current administration has done or has attempted to do the following, which is by no means an exhaustive list: ban trans women from women's sports, close U.S. aid, leaving U.S. aid workers stranded in Kinshasa during a rebellion, end birthright citizenship, drop prosecution of Mayor Eric Adams in exchange for his cooperation in persecuting immigrants in New York City, steal $80 million out of New York City's bank account, close government DEI offices, firing their officers and making recipients of government funds promise never to have DEI programs in return for funding, put tariffs on our nation's allies, appoint a vaccine denier to run Health and Human Services, erase the word trans from any government website, including the website about the Stonewall National Monument, withdraw the U.S. from WHO, ICC, and Paris Agreement, deploy troops to the border to police immigration, restore the federal death penalty, force government scientists to recall any scientific papers that refer to LGBTQ or women, rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, call on Gazans to be permanently removed from Gaza, order the immediate halt of any gender-affirming care for youth, suspend enforcement of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. It could go on and on and on. There is so much, and it is designed to overwhelm and divide so as to conquer. And all of it, I want to say, all of it is based on exclusionary, racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic beliefs. It is, I'm going to say, based on bad theology that teaches that some are in and some are out. And some get to tell others how to live and who to be, and the already privileged get the tall stools, and the rest of us get deeper and deeper holes. It is designed to create division among those with a vision of one humanity by promoting a feeling of scarcity even when there are plenty of resources. It's designed to encourage the creation of hierarchies among those in need, so we bicker amongst ourselves and forget that we are one, allowing the privileged to become even more so. This is a world of the elect and the chosen, not of equity and justice. This is a world that our ancestors rejected 200 years ago. In the face of the fire hose of change based on elitism, we have to remember our good theology. Theology that doesn't divide but unites, beliefs that do not deny but embrace, ideals that don't require us to do mental gymnastics, but ask only of us a loving and compassionate heart for all. We remember our good theology that invites all in and recognizes the worthiness and humanity of every person. We remember our good theology that teaches that deserve is maybe a dirty word unless we apply it to everyone. Our lives are so short. None of us knows which touch will be our last. The idea that we would waste time policing another's life, or that we would work against another experiencing safety and joy in their own short life, it is antithetical to everything we believe. We believe that every person has value and a right to self-determination. We believe that every person deserves, and yes, I do still use the word sometimes, every person deserves to be safe and protected and whole and happy. We believe that it is our responsibility to work for a world of equity and justice, dismantling bad theology and the broken systems that are built on it, and resisting efforts to move us backwards. And so, let us ground ourselves always in our deepest beliefs. Let us call out bad theology whenever we witness it, however subtly, and let us keep on working for a world of peace and equity. So may it be.
Build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where all of the people anointed by God may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where all of the people anointed by God may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll be a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastation from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come, build a land where all of the people anointed by God may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. fall. Oh, come build the land, my people we seek. Come build a land where all of the people, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Our service today invited us into the practice of grounding ourselves in our deepest beliefs by examining the words we use and what they say about our theology. Our call to action was an invitation to participate in the Together We Can pledge drive. And our words of benediction this morning: may we be strengthened for the tasks ahead, guided by the theology and values we hold dear. May we never forget that we are in this liberating work together, remembering always that we are part of a community of justice. May we commit ourselves ever to true equity and inclusion, doing all we can to ensure a world that celebrates and honors all. Now let us share in our unison chalice extinguishing. Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.